Try again.
Freak Radio Network, broadcasting from the Lucas Oil Studios.
Driven by General Tire.
It's Speed Freaks. Motorsports Radio redefined with Kenny Sargent.
We love to party.
Crash Gladys.
What are we doing for the bachelorette party?
And Statman.
I am serious.
Here's the Freaks.
You know, she asked that question every Sunday night. What are we doing for the bachelorette party? I have no idea, but I know what we're about to do for the next 2 hours. Sports Byline Radio Network, Sirius XM, affiliates across the country. You might be watching us on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitch. Thank you guys for hanging out. Special treat for you tonight if you're watching us as well as listening to us. If you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook Live, you'll see some interviews that you won't hear on our radio affiliates on the local breaks. I don't need to get into the minutia of that. But again, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see interviews as we flash back with Jeremy McGrath back in the mid-aughts. And in 2013, we caught up with Justin Wilson for the Indy 500 Media Day. And the reason we're playing that during one of these local breaks, the video, is what Sage Karam did over the weekend in the Xfinity Series race. And we'll get to that story on the significance of Justin Wilson and Sage Karam running in the Xfinity Series race in Pocono. In case you haven't heard, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, their finishes have been disqualified in today's Pocono race. We'll get into that. Scott Dixon, six-time
champion.
Six-time IndyCar Series champion, Indy 500 champion. He'll be joining us here in the Freak Nation. Also, Christopher Bell got his first win last weekend. Well, his first win of the year, second win of the NASCAR Cup Series. He'll be here in the Freak Nation. Matt Smith, five-time NHRA Pro Stock Bike champion. We caught up with him earlier. And funny stat, man, how he takes his Suzuki to Sonoma and goes, one round, doesn't make it into the semifinals because he's not on the Buell, he's on the Suzuki. Stat, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can't tell one way or the other. I mean, he mentioned some things that you'll want to hear when he comes on the air, how he takes off against the NHRA, takes off against one of the biggest names in drag racing, not motorcycle drag racing, certainly. It's a great interview. That it stopped all of us when we were, what'd you say?
Yep.
And, you got to hear this interview.
So, man, we're looking forward to tonight. Hopefully you are as well. Be a part of this big old thing. We're there for you on Twitter. And you can comment. If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, we'll see your comments creep up on our video networks. Again, thank you guys for being a part of this big damn show for you tonight. Of course, the news breaking about 45 minutes ago, Freak Nation, or whatever it was. It broke.
It was about an hour and a half.
Okay, It broke before the damn show. That Denny Hamlin, who, for all intents and purposes, we thought, like everybody else, thought he won the damn race. Nope, he didn't. And Kyle Busch, who finished second. Teammates there, Freak Nation. They both are disqualified as of right now. What did you say, Richie? If you look at the ledger, you have them at 35 and 36.
According to NASCAR's unofficial points right now, they finished 35th and 36th. So Denny earned 2 points today. Kyle Busch earned 1 point today after their disqualification.
You know what? Something was happening today. The announcers in the booth for the IndyCar race were giving so much praise to Joseph Newgarden, and the minute that they go to commercial, he crashes out.
Right.
The announcers today after the NASCAR race were giving loads of praise for Denny Hamlin and him turning his season around, and then, guess he hadn't yet.
Nope, not yet.
Easy.
Oh, Statman's just dying to talk right now, aren't you, Statimus Maximus?
Yeah, he does. You do have that S-eating grin look on your face because you're like, what comes around goes around,
Are you afraid
baby.
to show that Kyle Busch shirt that you're wearing right now?
Yeah, no, I when I heard the disqualification, I ran real quick and burned it in the driveway.
Right.
And that's what they do in Ohio. When you leave them or let them down, they just strike a match to it, let it burn in the driveway. There you go.
Oh, my goodness, Freak Nation.
Burn, baby, burn.
And Crasher will talk a little bit about it in her pit news in notes, why both Joe Gibbs' teammates were disqualified.
Okay, hold on. I'll talk about it, but I want a discussion on this as well.
Absolutely.
Because, Statman, are you I mean, basically it's material in the front fascia of the car. Does that give an aerodynamic advantage for sure? You know what? I'm just leave it at that because here's the music and we got to go to news and notes now. But I'm curious as to how that actually works.
All right, we'll get into that after pit news and notes, Crasher. Deal?
Got it.
So, yeah, big news coming out of the NASCAR Cup Series race today at Pocono. Two of your top two drivers disqualified. The first going to resume some affiliates and get back into it with some Crash Gladys spit news and notes right here. Speed Freaks, Lucas Oil Studios.
Speed Freaks, we promise to suck less. Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined. The Freaks.
There we go. Bringing in another round of affiliates, Freak Nation. Thank you guys for hanging out. I've said it 4 times already. I think you understand that I say thank you guys for hanging out. Coming up in moments, Crash Gladys pit news and notes. But first, her pit news and notes brought to you by our good friends at General Tire. It's crap hot out there, which, by the way, Statman has a scat in reference to that. We'll
being
get to that.
Crap hot?
Yeah, being crap hot. I think that's the title of his scat. That man scat, crap hot.
Yeah, there you go.
Crash Gladys pit news and notes brought to you by our good friends at General Tire. There's one tire out there that will survive the crap hot weather. Make sure you're rolling on General Tires. A lot of you folks still making plans to make those treks across the country with your family. Do the smart thing, Freak Nation, and roll on General Tires. Go to generaltire.com. Crasher?
All right, crashing out of the lead seemed to be a theme of this weekend. But before we get to that theme, just about, like we said, an hour and a half ago, we learned that both the winning car and the second place Cup car were disqualified from Sunday's NASCAR finish. So Denny Hamlin is no longer considered the winner of today's race. Instead, Chase Elliott is today's Cup winner. Both Gibbs cars apparently had material of some kind in the front fascia, which affected aerodynamics. According to Cup Series Managing Director Brad Moran, he said, quote, "There really was no reason why there was some material that was somewhere that it should not have been." Okay, they're being fairly vague on this because this is an appealable offense. So if they give too many details, then Joe Gibbs Racing can use that in their appeal, and you just don't want to go there. Bottom line, the appeal should be heard this week. We should know something in just a few days. So again, though, Chase Elliott is today's NASCAR Cup winner from Pocono. The Xfinity trucks and ARCA races were each a little bit more tame. Friday saw Taylor Gray win another ARCA race. Saturday had Chandler Smith winning in trucks, and then Noah Gragson capturing the flag in the Xfinity Series. IndyCar's doubleheader was huge, a 2-day concert festival, capped off today by Gwen Stefani pre-race, and then her husband Blake Shelton post-race. Saturday's race was dominated by the Penske machines, Joseph Newgarden on top of the box. Then on Sunday, he seemed to be the best car driver combo out there until he wasn't. Something broke and Joseph crashed out of the lead with around 60 laps to go. That was good news, though, for Pato O'Ward, who then drove away from everyone else for the dub. Speaking of crashing out of the lead, Charles Leclerc did that in F1. Max Verstappen, your winner. Woo, dog.
All right, Freak Nation, coming up, more discussion on the noses of these race cars from Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas Fuel Treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system, pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works.
General Tire was born more than 100 years ago, right here in America. We've spent the last century tackling every kind of road this country has to offer, and especially the places without roads. So you know that with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Lucas Oil, it works.
I run Lucas Oil.
It doesn't matter if you're on the water,
driving to work,
or competing in a sold-out stadium.
Lucas Oil products will help you get the most out of your vehicle.
Monster Jam has run Lucas Oil in and on our trucks for over 10 years.
We wouldn't run anything else.
Lucas Oil, the official oil of Monster Jam.
Hey, Freak Nation, did you hear? With the addition of MAV TV Plus to the MAV TV Motorsports Network, they've got their full live event broadcast schedule, a total of 226 live race broadcasts featuring the ARCA Menard Series, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, Pro Pulling League, American Sprint Car Series, Pro Motocross, and the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. MAV TV, the only television network dedicated to motorsports. Go to mavtv.com to get your motorsports fix 24/7, 365.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
Hey, Freak Nation, whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in off-road situations, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, supporting the Freak Nation for 2 decades.
You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined.
Lucas Oil, proud partners of the Freak Nation, as we've been doing it from the Lucas Oil Studios for many, many years. Go to lucasoil.com to find the products to keep your rides on the road. Got a motorcycle, got a speed boat, what about a ski boat? What a big fat 67 Mustang. They got the products to keep those rides and your boats, your motorcycles on the road and on the water, respectively. So the news coming out of NASCAR, Denny Hamlin got it. Oh.
Nope. I mean, he technically crossed the stripe first.
Mm-hmm. But Kyle Busch got him a second. But
he technically crossed the stripe second.
But Chase Elliott, what happened with him, Crasher?
He technically crossed the line third.
Oh,
but he is now officially the winner of today's NASCAR race.
All right. Well, let me back up just a second here. So, according to NASCAR, there was material, the 11 and the 18 of Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, the fascia, which is that the grill on the front end of a Cup car?
It's the front of the car. I don't know how far it goes down that they're talking about where this material was.
Mm-hmm.
It was down on the splitter, above the splitter, directing the air over the splitter. Where it was, maybe there was, it was inside the fascia, directing air towards the radiator. They're not saying, for some reason, they're not giving a lot of detail about this. That Gibbs team has until noon tomorrow, I believe, to appeal this ruling. And who knows, maybe the guy who made the ruling is the one they have to appeal to. So we don't know what happened, but certainly it can affect a number of things, mostly aero. And aero is very important in a race car. The fascia is the front of the car and it cuts through the air. So anything that is there that it affects how the car goes through the air, that's going to affect the performance.
Real quick, Crash, I know you want to chime in. Richie, I saw what Chris Bray posted on our chat here. He says, just read during an interview with Claire B. Lang on SiriusXM that the material was under the wrap and not found until the wrap was pulled in post-race.
Under the wrap of the car.
Yes. Richie.
So whoa.
Yeah. See what you can do. See if you can confirm that,
This
Rich.
is, yes. I believe it was Bob Pockras that had this first, which is why they did not catch this pre-race. Because in pre-race inspection, they don't dive as deep as they do post-race, especially for your top 5 cars that go through post-race inspection. So that's why they didn't find this until after the race. This is a normal process that they do for those top 5 cars after the race, and why this wasn't found. So Chris is correct.
It'd be if it happened to one car, say, okay, somebody made a mistake and left a pair of socks under the wrap, whatever. But if
that helps punch the air.
It helps punch the air. But if they did it on 2 cars, 2 of their faster cars, then somebody tried to pull a fast one and got caught.
Stat, I don't know if you can see this. There you go. Sarah Bowman chiming in saying, I wonder if this will lead to any suspensions for crew members.
And I would think that it would in the past. If somebody makes a mistake, that crew members get bumped, or at least the crew chief has to pay for it. And if they do find that they were guilty, then I would think the crew chief might go, unless they can prove that a specific crew member left the socks under the wrap. I mean, who knows what
the alleged socks.
The alleged socks. Yeah, right. But I mean, they put it somewhere, and the wrap is what they put on the car to change the car from M&Ms to something else.
Tools, whatever.
Yeah, DeWalt tools, whatever. Yeah. So if that was what it was, then it makes no sense that you would do something stupid like that. Somebody made a mistake, or they were trying to slip one over on them, and they got caught. I mean, they have such stringent rules in NASCAR, and after inspection before the race, after the race, you would think that somebody would just say, hey, it's not worth it. But they tried to pull a fast one and got caught.
I just threw it out there on my Googleage. History of Joe Gibbs penalties in NASCAR, because I know he's had some issues.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going back to, this is 2008. After a nationwide series race in Michigan, NASCAR inspectors found magnets under the pedals of 2 Joe Gibbs entries, Tony Stewart and Joey Logano. NASCAR threw the book at him, according to that article. And then there's one in 2013 where Joe Gibbs said the penalties issued number 20 team are probably one of the bigger things that have happened in my life professionally. Said he'll fight the severity of the sanctions. And this was, Gibbs said he was troubled by his team's credibility being questioned after Matt Kenseth's race-winning car at Kansas was found to have an illegal part in the engine because there was no intent to gain the unfair advantage. The penalties were too harsh. Guys, you want me to go there on this?
Yes, because people are going there.
You want me to go?
This is a penalty-ridden team. This is
no. I'm going.
They're cheaters.
Yes, I'm going there, Statman.
All right, have at it.
You see it happen. You can email me, statmc@speedfreaks.tv.
You're awful.
You see it happen before the race, after the race. Joe Gibbs is a very, very public Christian man. Do Christian men cheat in their respective jobs?
No.
You went there. You went there.
Joe Gibbs, from what I'm told, he wants all of his crew members, everybody that's employed by Joe Gibbs. This is what I'm told inside the walls of someone that worked at Joe Gibbs. He prefers you to be a part of the prayers, the post-race prayers, the pre-race prayers. Anytime you get a chance to pray with Joe Gibbs, he would like you there.
Whoa. Why
would a Christian man like Joe Gibbs be cheating like this? Statman, Crash?
Wait a minute. I understand why, and what you're doing. But if Christian men can invade the Capitol and threaten to hang the vice president, then they can certainly cheat in NASCAR.
Well, you make my point.
You went there.
You make my point more than you know, Stat Man.
Yeah.
You make my point. What say you, Freak Nation? Joe Gibbs comes off as a very Christian man.
Which allegedly Christianity is supposed to be good. Is that what you're saying? The good people? Is that where you're trying to go with this? Why do people?
In his defense, maybe he didn't know.
Oh, Stat, come on!
He doesn't get under the car and build the engines or put the wrap on the car or leave socks under the wrap. He doesn't do all of that. So, but if in his defense,
Okay, Stat Man. I will say this. If I see a commercial of you endorsing a tire that's not General Tire or affiliated with General Tire, there are consequences. Yes. There are endorsing a automotive aftermarket product that's a direct competitor of Lucas Oil. There's, hey, I'm Stat Man. I'm not fining you, my friend.
But there are other consequences.
Yes, there are other consequences, buddy. Joe Gibbs has to say to these guys, we're trying to lock up a sponsor for Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
And this crap is Denny Hamlin and FedEx. Millions and millions of dollars. Listen,
I'll bet you that if they are found guilty, Joe Gibbs, even if he was there directing them how to do it, I had no idea.
Oh, yeah, he'll say that for sure.
Yeah, and they've been fired. They will not have any part to play on my team. We're very sorry that this happened. This goes at the core of what we believe.
Oh, yeah, you're exactly right. You are writing exactly what they're going to write.
He's got the same response on all of these penalties.
Serious?
Yes.
So it's copy paste.
Can I add to the conspiracy?
Please.
Do you guys know who was the title sponsor of today's race?
M&M's.
It got me too.
Right. It was M&M's. And Kyle Busch led the most laps, had the best car all day. Probably should have won the race if his team didn't screw up on pit road and run 3 seconds slower on pit road. Or else he probably should have beaten his teammate. So there you go. So Joe Gibbs, behind the scenes, we got to win the last race for M&M's and their title sponsorship.
Hey,
oops.
Oh my God.
Let me say this. I'm gonna put the margins way out here. That we have had or we're going to have a driver on that it was imperative that he win a race this year in order for a certain team that we might be talking about to maintain their sponsorship for 2023.
Oh, yeah. The pressure is really getting harder and harder on these teams to keep sponsors happy, and especially at the price point that they're at NASCAR. It's still too high there.
And this is coming from the sponsor. This isn't coming from Joe Gibbs. This is coming from the sponsor, from the sponsor's mouth.
Did you just out the fact that this is a Gibbs driver?
No,
that
I didn't.
You're referring to?
No, no, because we've talked about several. Have we? Several team owners. Chip Ganassi is talking about that. Roger Penske.
Right.
Bro, I just, Richie, there's too much here, and it's got to be going on Twitter right now. It has to be. I haven't been able to catch up on Twitter with a lot of this back and forth, but that's the.
Okay, a big consensus on Twitter right now, on all of social media, I see it on Instagram too, is that this is a BS call. There's no way that this could actually be real and could have a competitive advantage. So how could it? And especially now that we know it was under the wrap, the paint scheme, the wrap of the car. How would that give them a competitive advantage?
They finished 1 and 2, Crash.
I know.
They finished 16 and 17.
How do socks underneath the wrap help the car go faster?
Well, it doesn't matter if it helped them. If they have templates that they have to meet and they didn't meet them, that's a violation.
That's a perfect way to put it. There you go.
You know, and so it doesn't matter whether it made them fast or not. They try it. Maybe they tried something and it didn't work, but they didn't pass the template when it went on the car in the post-race inspection. So, or either that or somebody walked past and said, hey, you know, what's that?
Richie,
So-
do we have the board set up to where we can take phone calls?
No.
We don't. Got it. I know some folks are wanting to chime in.
Stay new school around here. You got to hit us up on Twitter or in the comment section in our YouTube channel. All right?
Yep. Post a comment. Come on.
We don't have a text line, or I would say you can text in too, but millennials like myself don't know how to use phones anymore. We just use our fingers, and we got typey type on the Twitter machine.
All right.
We'll do it on our phones.
All right. Let's do this. Let's. I'm looking forward to seeing hearing Statman's scat. Maybe a little post scatimus talkamus about that. But plenty going on in regards to Joe Gibbs racing. I just dropped it out there. If he's such a Christian man, why in the hell is this Christian man cheating so much?
Did you read that CNN article today? Is that why you're?
No, it's not. But you're right, Crasher. It's out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, it's yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
More coming up. I promise you, in regards to Joe Gibbs and his top two drivers being disqualified here in the Freak Nation Lucas Oil Studios.
The religious group.
The headlines this week shine the bright light on record temperatures and climate change in countries around the world, including here in the United States. Triple-digit temperatures were hotter than ever recorded in several countries, and that includes records that go back nearly 400 years. Temperatures were coupled with explosion of brush fires in the American West and record heat in the plains and Northeast here in the United States. You can argue about where this climate change came from. Certainly many do, but you can't logically deny that one contributor is the internal combustion engine. That's why another small headline here in America is so relevant. Story said NASCAR is ready to unveil a prototype electric race car at the Busch Coliseum Clash next February. In reality, we shouldn't be surprised. Automakers are under mandate to cut dependence on fossil fuels. NASCAR is under its own mandate to maintain its dependency on automaker money. So you can imagine the closed meetings where future checks are trapped in a common business practice. You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. If you don't like the idea of electric cars, though, maybe you'd like the idea of grilling in the backyard with 150-degree temperatures and the backyard on fire. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? Peace.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Justin Wilson joins Crash Gladys, Kenny Sargent, Speed Freaks Pits, hanging out in this snappy little media center. This looks like some testing center for like monkeys and dogs, like you're hanging out here in the Quadrant.
Yeah, you just keep poking sticks and see what the reaction is. Let's put me in the corner and I just sit back here and see what happens.
Well, but we walk up and you say, well, here comes trouble. Why do you say that, Justin Wilson? Only because we've been busting your balls for 10 years?
It's... The mood really picks up when you guys come in. It's good fun, but it's like my younger brother. I love him, but you also like to give him a hard time at the same time.
Justin, we've seen that other side of you, and that's when you're in the car, when you can be an MFer. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, once the visor's down, I don't care. I want to win as much as anyone else, and it's time to go. So, it's kind of my bipolar or whatever you put.
Your inner AJ Foyt, right?
Yeah, and that started ever since I was teammates with AJ. It's with AJ Allmending, I should say. Didn't race with AJ Foyt. I'm not quite that old, but it's just you want to go out there and race hard and play hard, but I just find it hard to be mean outside of the car and There's times when I've let people know what I think, but generally speaking, I just like it easygoing. Don't like the drama that some of the drivers like. I like it to be nice and straightforward and just work on my car. I want to go fast, and that's all it really matters to me.
Speaking of sick sense of humor, what city are you from specifically?
I'm from Sheffield in England.
A bitchin' soccer team, but I'm also told that people from that area are pretty much freedom of expression, where you might walk around the family nude, hanging out in your skivvies. You don't care if your kids are running outside naked. Is that true?
I've not seen that, no.
You don't walk around in your skivvies and your kids hanging out in the front porch nude?
No, it's a little cold there to be doing that sort of thing. It's not quite, Florida kind of temperature, so...
so you do it in Florida?
Oh, yeah, that's all the time.
Yeah, because we busted Tristan Vautier about... We tried to, about does he wear a Speedo, because he's a Frenchie.
Yeah,
and he says, hell no, I don't wear a Speedo, but you English bastards might drop one out there, right? I bet you in a Speedo is like a redwood in a Speedo, all freaking limbs, right?
No, it's not a good look, and I like to wear board shorts. Just keep it pretty simple.
You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined.
Coming up, I'll relay what Brad Moran from NASCAR said post-race in the press conference in regards to the 18 and the 11 being disqualified post-Pocono race. But this segment's brought to you by good friends at General Tire. Do yourself a favor, Freak Nation. Go to GeneralTire.com. You need some new tires? Then General Tire would be the way to go. A lot of traveling going on this summer. Get those new General tires, those big, fat, freaking grabbers who look awfully bueno on your F-250. Go to GeneralTire.com. Statman, Crash Gladys, Kenny Sargent, Lucas Oil Studios. We've got about 5 minutes to pontificate. Sometime in the show, I would like to talk about Statman Scat, but my goodness, this has a life of its own in regards to the disqualifications. These guys aren't losing points, and out of the gate, these guys are losing their respective positions and where they finished. I don't know, Crash, Richie.
They're losing. Okay, yeah. You mentioned also points that they gained from the stages as well. All of that's gone from their record.
When was the last time a race winner was disqualified, Crash?
April 17th, 1960.
What? Mm-hmm. Holy crap.
Approximately.
No, I looked it up because I'm like, I don't remember it in my lifetime. I don't remember it in my lifetime. So there you go. Yeah, that's insane.
Which points to, if this hasn't happened in 1960, is that what you said?
It's 61 years, 62 years.
So if it hasn't happened in 62 years, this must be an egregious violation of the rules. So they're not saying where this material was under the wrap, but it must have been in a place where they could have gotten some aerodynamic benefit from it, or directing the more air to the cooling system, the radiator. This must be a bad thing. If that hadn't happened in 62 years, wow.
And I'm wondering why Christopher Bell's car or Ty Gibbs was in, never mind. He's guilt by association with name only. He was in Kurt Busch's car, never mind. But why is Christopher Bell's car not being taken to R&D as well? I mean,
they didn't have enough socks. Maybe his passed the post-race inspection.
Well, no, I don't think he had to go. Where did he finish? He wasn't mandated to go to post-race inspection, was he?
They only take the top 5. Is that what it is? Yeah. And random cars after that, yeah.
If you get a chance, Bob Pockrass has the video of Brad Moran up there on his Twitter account, up on Twitter. And Brad Moran, if you watch someone on video and they are as uncomfortable as can be, this is Brad Moran of NASCAR. There are more damn names coming on NASCAR the last 2 years, and I have no idea what they do. But Brad Moran certainly is not in familiar position, at least to him, because if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, he's got his hand up here on his neck and he's talking like this, and he looks like he's been sweating, and he's having when they're saying let's take some questions, he's just like, God, why am I up here? Oh, man.
I'm a competition guy. I don't want to talk to media.
But just let that resonate a little bit, Freak Nation, listening to us on one of our many affiliates, SiriusXM, watching us on YouTube, Facebook. 62 years. And the inspection of cars has improved. I need to tell you that. You know, especially with these, according to Brad Moran, they've really got tight controls on these new cars. And there's very little that's going to slip by them in the final process.
And they said that at the beginning of the year. They said, we're not messing around this year when it comes to penalties. Yep. And we've seen that. They've stuck to that word.
Good for them. They stick to something, you know. If they're gonna put a new car out there, and they investigated this car for at least 3 or 4 years, and they wanted to be a certain way to make the competition a certain way. And if you think you're going to get away with, bending the rules, they just said, no, you're not. And good for NASCAR.
And real quick, we got a break in about 50 seconds. This on top of the Chicago street course being announced.
Oh, that's right. We were going to talk about that tonight. But
And this on top of referencing Statman Scat, that news was leaked that, Richie, as soon as next year.
Yeah.
Right, Stat? Soon as next year, there will be a number of races with electric.
Well, no, they're going to show the prototype next February, and they're not saying when the potential 5 or 8 races are going to happen.
There you go, Freak Nation. Coming up, speaking of Joe Gibbs, Christopher Bell, who won. Oh, snap. Who won last week? He joins us here in the Freak Nation.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Hey, Freak Nation, whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in off-road situations, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, supporting the Freak Nation for 2 decades.
Lucas Oil, it works.
I run Lucas Oil.
It doesn't matter if you're on the water,
driving to work,
or competing in a sold-out stadium.
Lucas Oil products will help you get the most out of your vehicle.
Monster Jam has run Lucas Oil in and on our trucks for over 10 years.
we wouldn't run anything else.
Lucas Oil, the official oil of Monster Jam.
Hey, Freak Nation, did you hear? With the addition of MAV TV Plus to the MAV TV Motorsports Network, they've got their full live event broadcast schedule, a total of 226 live race broadcasts featuring the ARCA Menard Series, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, Pro Pulling League, American Sprint Car Series, Pro Motocross, and the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. MAV TV, the only television network dedicated to motorsports. Go to mavtv.com to get your motorsports fix 24/7, 365.
Dear Lucas Oil, I've used your heavy-duty oil stabilizer in my truck for years. It now has over 500,000 miles. It's not a diesel. It's never been rebuilt. Your oil stabilizer does exactly what it says it'll do. It has extended the life of my engine. Just want to say thanks. Sincerely, Josh H.
Lucas Heavy-Duty Oil Stabilizer. It works.
Time is more valuable today. There's less time to keep our vehicles looking their best. That's where Lucas Oil Slick Mist Speed Wax steps up. It's great for paint, chrome, glass, and vinyl. Lucas Oil Slick Mist simply mists on and then wipes off, leaving a new car shine every time. It's quick and easy and works on wet or dry surfaces. For a complete detail, there's also Slick Mist Interior or Slick Mist Tire and Trim Shine. Lucas Oil, it works.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas fuel treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system, pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas fuel treatment. It works.
Coming up in moments, Christopher Bell. We caught up with Christopher Bell last Wednesday after his first win of the 2022 season, who's teammates with Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin. If you haven't heard, both of these guys have been disqualified from the first and second spots of today's race. Denny Hamlin wins the race. Kyle Busch gets the number 2 spot. And why aren't you asking Christopher Bell about that? Well, we caught up with him on Wednesday. Skipjack, so settle down. But I will say, Statman, Christopher Bell won last week, my friend. He won last week.
He passed post-race tech, too.
Yeah, true.
They don't wear any socks in his.
There you go.
His crew.
Start calling him Stat Rabbit Hole Man. Christopher Bell in moments. Next hour, Scott Dixon and Matt Smith. Between those two dudes, they've got 11 freaking championships.
Oh, wow.
It's a big show. Joining us here in the Freak Nation. And one thing that comes to my mind, Bell, after your win was, it seems like the last, year and a half, we've been clamoring for a Tyler Reddick win. When we go back to your last win in February of 2021, you're raising your hands going, hey, media guys, what about me? I haven't won in a year and a half, but finally you get this win last weekend. I collectively felt the wind out of several people's sails. Well, I should refer to it this way. I collectively felt a sigh between you and Gibbs and your team and your crew. Like, finally, Bell grabbed this win. Is it similar to my description?
I don't know. I mean, I was feeling really good about our season. You know, we've been running pretty strong, really strong at times, and pretty strong the majority of the time. So I was happy for Tyler Reddick to get his win. And I felt like we'd been close early on in the season. So it felt good to finally check that box. But definitely with that playoff line creeping up, and we were getting awful close to being beneath the playoff line. So I'm glad that we were able to win and get ourselves well above that line.
That actually brings up a good question. Is it enough to have a good season, a solid season, lots of top fives, and not make the playoffs? Or are sponsors kind of on you saying, you better be in those playoffs or else come next year?
Yeah, I mean, making the playoffs is extremely important. And I would say that it's basically a must. You know, if you don't make the playoffs, especially driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, it's not a good year. So I'm very happy that we were able to clinch our spot, and hopefully, we can have a good run in the playoffs, which I think we will. All the tracks that we ran at or that we go to in the playoffs are places that we ran really well at the beginning of the year.
Christopher Bell joining us here in the Freak Nation. And Christopher, if you look at all forms of sports, there are teams that feel like, man, we're on the cusp of winning a championship. We've got a great season. We've got many more wins than losses. It kind of sounds like that's what you're talking about in regards to your run for 2022. But psychologically, that can be a mind F where it just continues to jack with you. Did you have somebody in your ear or somebody close to you going, Chris, we got this, buddy. We're this close. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Adam Stevens does a really good job as my crew chief to kind of keep us in perspective. And he was definitely the guy saying that, we're running really good. Just keep after it, and we're going to be in a good spot. So very proud to be driving for him, proud to get him a win. But, yeah, I mean, the playoffs, to say that we are a championship contender, I don't believe that we're there yet. But with a couple more tools in the toolbox, I think we could be there.
I see what you did there, Mr. DeWalt. Yes. I see what you did there. Just give me a couple more DeWalt tools. All right.
Yeah.
You referenced Adam, and I think it was you. Oh gosh, if it's not, this question is going to be completely botched. Did you post something about your wife back in May? So this would have been Mother's Day, or not Mother's Day, anniversary or something, about how she's your biggest supporter, but your biggest critic when needed as well. What does she, if that was you, what does she say critique wise to you sometimes after races?
Oh yeah. Morgan, my wife, she's on me harder than anybody. So, I don't exactly remember what goes down, but, well, I guess just a couple weeks ago, I slid through my pit box and she was like, "What the heck were you doing? Were you not paying attention?" So, she wants to win probably just as bad as me, if not worse.
Has she driven before?
No, no, she has not driven before. So she's the world's best or worst backseat driver. So she'll tell you how to do it. That's for sure.
So Christopher Bell, we're talking about points here. You're 8th in points. You've got to win, but there's so many new winners this year. You may have one win and not make it into the playoffs. That must be frustrating. You can't take a exhale, say I'm in yet, can you?
So I believe that we can because of our points position. So because we're 8th in points, we're well above some of the other guys with one win. So we're not in that position where we would miss the playoffs. I think a guy like Chase Briscoe or Suarez, those guys that are lower in the point standings, those are the guys that need to be worrying.
Wow. All right. So let me ask you a little different question. You mentioned Toyota and JGR, and is that the official factory team for Toyota?
Yes. So Joe Gibbs Racing is kind of the Toyota. Well, I mean, honestly, it's the only team we have. Well, Joe Gibbs Racing in 2311, which is our satellite team that Denny Hamlin owns. And then that's all Toyota's got. So very small group, but we've got a really talented group of drivers and crew chiefs, and the Toyota group does a great job providing us equipment. So we've got a small but lethal group.
So your wins have come, I think, on a road course and on a fairly flat oval. That kind of defines a style of driving. Do you see yourself that way? Would you rather? Do you have trouble with the high banks like the real Bristol and not the dirt Bristol and some of the other places?
Yeah. So what's interesting is my wins have come at the road course and Loudon, but after living this season, I would say that our best racetracks have been the faster, more banked tracks. So. Looking ahead to Michigan, even Pocono this weekend. Pocono and Michigan aren't super banked, but they are really high speed. I expect us to be really competitive there. And so, yeah, I mean, this year, looking back at Charlotte, Darlington, Dover, which are all super high, Las Vegas early on in the year, those are all super high speed racetracks that were great showings for us. We were able to win the pole at Kansas too. So, I think that the faster tracks are where we're succeeding at better this year. So I expect us to, contend for wins and be right there whenever we go to those style tracks as well.
Did you hear what Statman just said, though? He said the real Bristol, meaning asphalt.
No.
Are those fighting words to you, Christopher? Because you are a dirt guy.
I am a dirt guy, but I will agree with him that NASCAR needs to be on the concrete Bristol. So,
aha.
Yeah, I enjoy concrete Bristol better than dirt Bristol in NASCAR.
Yep.
Christopher Bell joining us here in the Freak Nation. And Christopher, what's awesome about your generation in NASCAR is you're seeing considerable change that Crash, Stat, and yours truly didn't see for 15 years, that we've been clamoring for it for the last 20 years, where finding these different races, finding tandems to race with, whether it's IndyCar or IMSA. And now Chicago, the street course, has been announced. Can you fully grasp the big changes that NASCAR's doing, or is this just something that I expected NASCAR to do with these changes?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of heard rumors of it. And then obviously during COVID, we had the street race on iRacing. And that one was kind of like, whoa, what's going on here, guys? So I'm not going to say that it caught us by surprise, because we saw or heard the rumors of it and kind of saw it coming from the iRacing deal. So that's going to be completely different, and it's going to be interesting to say the least, but I think it's going to be an entertaining show.
Let me jump in here quickly. We're getting all these new races that Kenny just talked about. We've got the street race in Chicago. We've got 7 or 8 road course races this year. Are sponsors responding to that, seeing this new face of NASCAR, especially going into an urban area like Chicago and not racing way out in Chicagoland, but racing in the heart of the city?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak from the sponsors' view there. I don't know how they view it. I'm sure that it's good, because whenever we went to Road America last year, it was a great crowd. And then adding Bristol Dirt was obviously a new thing that I think got really good TV ratings. So anytime that you get more eyeballs on the vehicles themselves and on the sport is really good for all of our brands. So with that being said, I've won 2 cup races this year, or not this year, but in my career, and both of them have been with the Rheem sponsorship. So we're focused really hard on getting our friends at Stanley Black & Decker and DeWalt. I know we have a Craftsman race coming up, so hopefully we can get a win with the Stanley Black & Decker brand here very quickly.
There you go. Attaboy.
Talking about that toolbox again.
Yeah.
We got something with Lucas Oil toolbox, buddy, just to help with your DeWalt tools.
That's
just
true.
Just saying.
Hey, Christopher, we know your history on dirt, and it just seems like, again, we talk about change, whether it's Larson or other drivers that are weeknight dirt drivers. Do you find yourself clamoring to get more weekday races in as you move forward? Do you have an agreement with Joe Gibbs that you can go out there and expand your resume on dirt and kick some ass?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely try and be really smart about my dirt racing schedule and only race whenever it makes sense. But I feel it is very important for me to race dirt as much as I can, because I feel like that improves my Sunday driving. So, I've talked about that to Coach, and Joe Gibbs is very, I would say, particular on when I go and do my dirt racing, and we work together on making sure that it makes sense whenever I go do it.
Do you find that your wife, Morgan, is more critical of you on dirt or in your cup car?
Yeah, so she grew up dirt track racing. Her dad is a sprint car crew chief, and uncle is a sprint car driver. So I would say that she used to be more strict on the dirt, but now that she's around NASCAR a lot, it's transferred over there. But yeah, I mean, I love having her around and love how supportive she is and love how into the racing she is.
Yeah, now I want to get her, Caitlin Larson, I want to get a couple of the girls on the dirt, and just because I know that NASCAR has that thing in Charlotte where they have the wives race or whatever, but let's do it on the dirt. I don't know if we've ever seen that, have we?
Yeah, I agree. I think that'd be funny.
What's the key word that she uses when you fail her on the track? Is like idiot or dumbass or what does she say? Come on, Belle.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't get mad at me. I would say she just she feels disappointment just like I do, and she wants to win just as bad as I do. So, she never gets mad at me, but she gets mad at me if I do something stupid like sliding through the pit box. But yeah, I mean, she's just very supportive and wants to win just like the rest of us.
Does she get more mad at you for a mistake on the track or for not taking out the trash?
Definitely a mistake on the track.
Okay.
Whoa.
So she's laid back at home-ish.
Yeah, laid back at home.
That's cool.
Yeah, but a mistake on the track has to do with the money coming over the transom and in the bank account. Taking out the track.
Home go.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Hey, Belle, one last thing before we get the hell out of here. Who are some drivers that you idolized as a punk kid growing up in Norman, Oklahoma, whether it was dirt or stock cars?
Yeah, so for me, Tony Stewart was my guy. I love Tony. He was my idol growing up. He grew up in the USAC ranks, and so that's what I did. So Tony Stewart was definitely my hero.
That's right. Wait a minute. Didn't that become a big topic of conversation last year, in which your walls are adorned with Tony Stewart, and here you are in his car or something like that?
So I drove for Tony Stewart in the sprint car stuff, but I haven't driven for him in NASCAR. So, he's one of my heroes, and I'm very thankful for the time I got behind his sprint cars.
No, I just meant like memorabilia, and you're in the 20, and I forget, maybe that was somebody else who was a big Tony Stewart fan as well.
There are plenty of them out there.
There's plenty of them out there because he's a badass driver, and you're closely becoming one. So yay.
Me, I'm a huge Tony Stewart fan. Yeah.
There you go. Yes.
Christopher, thanks for doing this, buddy.
All right. Have a good day, guys. Thank you.
As I said, we caught up with Christopher Bell last Wednesday, not just after today's Pocono race. If we did, there would be questions regarding his teammates, Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, who, again, have been DQ'd, not docked a point or two or fined $50,000, but disqualified. And again, this has happened before numerous times with Joe Gibbs Racing.
Well, not this particular infraction, but penalties, issues, cheating.
Yes.
Going outside the rule book. That has happened many times with Joe Gibbs Racing. They have a checkered past.
Hey.
Oh, that's what I did there.
Yeah. Second hour, Matt Smith, 5-time NHRA Pro Stock Bike champion. We caught up with him. Also, Scott Dixon, 6-time IndyCar Series champion, won last weekend in...
Last weekend was... Where was last weekend? Toronto.
Boom, Toronto. Scott Dixon. Which, by the way, Freak Nation, got 30 seconds. When was the last time we heard anyone suspended, fined in NHRA? IndyCar? Supercross? IMSA?
Oh, IMSA, yeah. Yeah. Okay, hold on. What are you talking about? Suspended, fined, rule changes are happening. Matt Smith, we talked with him about it coming up in this hour.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined. listening to Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio Redefined.
Please hang up and try again.
Live on the Freak Radio Network, broadcasting from the Lucas Oil Studios.
Driven by General Tire.
It's Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio Redefined with Kenny Sargent.
We love to party. Crash Gladys.
What are we doing for the bachelorette party?
And Statman.
I am serious.
Here's the Freaks.
Freak Nation, second hour, big second hour. Scott Dixon, 6-time IndyCar Series champion. He'll be here in the Freak Nation. Matt Smith, 5-time NHRA Pro Bike champion. Pro Bike.
Stock motorcycle.
Bam! Motorcycle champion. He'll be here in the Freak Nation.
Richie C. Suave's here. I have no idea what the shirt is that he has on. If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, has an R with a freaking hammer. What the hell does that mean there, Richard C. Suave? What the hell does that mean? Go ahead and share with the Freak Nation, buddy.
It's an old character from a children's television show I used to watch when I was a kid.
Bob the Builder.
Yeah,
No,
I've always equated hammers with little kids.
Yeah, man. Bang. True
It's on
that.
Nickelodeon. It's called All That. The name of the character is Repairman. If you know, you know. If you don't, too bad.
Yeah, man.
You know, you
Lucas
know.
Oil Studios for 22 years. Freak Nation going on our 23rd year. Well, we're already on our 23rd year, Freak Nation. Last hour, Christopher Bell joined us, the teammate of Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. Two drivers, not Christopher Bell, but Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, that have been disqualified from the results today. Denny Hamlin won the race, and I've got that visual of him and his little, 8, 9, 10-year-old daughter
yes,
out there with him at their
Taylor.
race car, sitting in the car after his
Wow,
earnings.
I forgot about that.
Oh,
And I you couldn't
is
help
she
but get
an
a little.
accessory?
Come
Is she
on,
an
no,
accessory to
she's not.
cheating?
Stop it.
Well, it might have been her socks that were left in under the wrap,
No, but it was cute. She was upset because her dad was getting booed by the crowd, and that made her very upset. I thought that was really cute. But oh man, yeah, you're taking this win away from her now. Damn it.
Yeah, there she is. If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook Live, you'll see her with the winning checkered flag.
Oh, what did Denny tweet? What did he go up? Read that.
Right. It says, yes, good luck getting that back, talking about the flag.
His daughter took the winning checkered flag and apparently has it with her in their motorhome or on their plane right now. And Denny Hamlin took a picture of that, or has a picture of it that he quote tweeted from NASCAR and said, yeah, good luck getting that back. I love it.
And as Crash stated last hour, there has been no disqualification for 62 years in NASCAR.
Mm-hmm.
And Crasher, I know I threw it out there.
There have been wins taken away, but no technical disqualification that removes all points and all everything.
Does anything come to mind, Stat? I mentioned this going into the top of the hour. IMSA, motocross, IndyCar, NHRA. Anybody?
Nothing that comes to my mind.
Failing tech, yeah.
At least, yeah. Failing post-event tech.
I mean,
and probably something that happened immediately and it caused the federal investigation and hearings in the Congress, but I don't remember anything.
weight is added to some cars in IMSA, in sports cars, right? Because of an alleged competitive advantage that some cars have over others. So IMSA always tries to nip it in the bud, even though it pisses off half the paddock when they do so.
It's called balance of performance, or BOP. Yeah, if a car gets too fast, then they put weight on it to, make the cars more equal. If it's not fast enough, they'll take weight from it. But the idea is to have 10 different kinds of cars equal in performance as the race goes on.
Well, then why don't you just do what the NHRA does? They give the guy the win, but they just change the freaking rules. Like with Matt Smith.
Well, no, that was also a weight ad.
Mm-hmm.
Suzuki's were, who was given the weight ad? The Buells were, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Redonkulous.
Oh, this is going to be fun this week.
Yeah.
What if it was a driver that wasn't already in? He got DQ'd.
Like a Kevin Harvick?
Yeah, someone's been chasing him all year. Right? Holy smokes.
Well, the Kevin Harvicks of the world aren't going to post-race tech because they're not in the top 5. They're just...
I'm saying, what if Kevin Harvick won and then this happened?
Oh, needed that win to get into the playoffs. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, Crash.
I see.
That's what I'm saying. All right, Freak Nation, we're going to resume with some affiliates and get right back to you with Crash Gladys Pit News and Notamages somewhere or other. There it is. Why am I not hearing anything? I don't know, Freak Nation.
It is awfully quiet.
Crash
to go
Gladys
news
Pit
and
News and Notes coming up as Speed Freaks does it again on a Sunday night. Sirius XM affiliates, thank you guys for being a part of this big old thing. Crash Gladys Pit News and Notes brought to you by our good friends at General Tire. Do yourself a favor, Freak Nation, and roll with General Tires. Go to generaltire.com. That's generaltire.com. Crasher, go right ahead.
All right, I'm just going to put this out there. If you are watching us on YouTube, I can already tell right behind me, behind this sponsor label right here, I have a cat that is getting awfully curious back there. It may come down, so this could be quite entertaining. All right, in the first hour, I did not get to NHRA results, nor did I get to motocross results. So let's go motocross. Washougal, Washington. Jet Lawrence won his 7th outdoor national. Holy cow. Man, he's incredible. And then Chase Sexton outdueling Eli Tomac for his 2nd win on the season. NHRA was in Sonoma where it was perfect weather, unless you're a crew chief. Crew chiefs can't stand the weather there because the day starts off and it's nice and cool and foggy and then heads into high heat come later in the day. Excuse me, clearly I have a frog in my throat. Brittany Force was your winner in Top Fuel. Bob Tasca, the 3rd in Funny Car. Erica Enders in Pro Stock. And Joey Gladstone in Pro Stock Motorcycles. Now, that was Joey Gladstone's first ever pro win. But for everybody, all 4 of those drivers, their first win at Sonoma. So a pretty historical weekend. But yes, the big news, NASCAR and the disqualification of race winner in 2nd place, Denny Hamlin. I almost said Chase Elliott. And Kyle Busch, for crying out loud. Chase Elliott is now your determined winner. It's going to be fun to follow throughout the entire week on what happens with the appeal process and, well, just what NASCAR has to say about the entire disqualification. All right, IndyCar had a doubleheader in Iowa, and it was a very big success. A 2-day concert festival capped off today by Gwen Stefani in the morning, and then her husband, Blake Shelton, with a post-race concert of his own. Saturday's race was dominated by the Penske machines, with Joseph Newgarden on top of the box. Then on Sunday, he seemed to have the best car until he didn't because he crashed out. Something broke. There was this big puff of smoke that came out of the back of the car, and bam, he hit into the wall. It was a pretty difficult hit, as he said. And an update on his condition. After the race, not knowing for sure if it was tied into the crash that he had during the race, but he fainted, and he fell and hit his head. He was airlifted to a hospital in Des Moines. He is going to be A-OK. They're keeping him overnight for evaluation. Pato Award, though, your winner
More
on day 2.
freaks next.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
IndyCar WWT Raceway, Saturday, August 20th. The Bommarito Automotive Group 500. Icons, legends, and rising stars. Drama at 200 miles per hour. It's not a reality show. It's real life, real fast. The iconic teams, McLaren, Andretti, Foyt, Rahal, Penske, Ganassi. Legendary drivers, Johnson, Kanaan, Castroneves, Newgarden, IndyCar. Only at WWT Raceway.
Hey, Freak Nation, whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in off-road situations, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, supporting the Freak Nation for 2 decades.
Lucas Oil, it works.
I run Lucas Oil.
It doesn't matter if you're on the water,
Driving to work,
or competing in a sold-out stadium.
Lucas Oil products will help you get the most out of your vehicle.
Monster Jam has run Lucas Oil in and on our trucks for over 10 years.
we wouldn't run anything else.
Lucas Oil, the official oil of Monster Jam.
Hey, Freak Nation, did you hear? With the addition of MAV TV Plus to the MAV TV Motorsports Network, they've got their full live event broadcast schedule, a total of 226 live race broadcasts featuring the ARCA Menard Series, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, Pro Pulling League, American Sprint Car Series, Pro Motocross, and the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. MAV TV, the only television network dedicated to motorsports. Go to mavtv.com to get your motorsports fix 24/7, 365.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas fuel treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system, pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas fuel treatment. It works.
Time is more valuable today. There's less time to keep our vehicles looking their best. That's where Lucas Oil Slick Mist Speed Wax steps up. It's great for paint, chrome, glass, and vinyl. Lucas Oil Slick Mist simply mists on and then wipes off, leaving a new car shine every time. It's quick and easy and works on wet or dry surfaces. For a complete detail, there's also Slick Mist Interior or Slick Mist Tire and Trim Shine. Lucas Oil, it works.
You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined.
Back in Dixon, 22 races without a win of Scott Dixon. Freak Nation, good to get him back in here. Scott Dixon, 22 races without a win of Scott Dixon. But Scott, I'm listening to the biography of David Grohl of the Foo Fighters, and similar situations where you guys grow up from small families, not a whole lot to hang your hat on, and all of a sudden, through walks of life, you become some of the greatest names in your respective jobs. And he talks about all these musicians he grew up wanting to meet and idolize and be like them. Kiwi like you, who were the drivers like you, or were they drivers? Were they rock stars? Who were the people that you idolized as a punk ass kid at 15, 14, scuffing up your tennis shoes on the tough streets of New Zealand?
I think in New Zealand, where we are so far away from the rest of the world, for me, it was, local heroes like, Kenny Smith, and then V8 Supercars was big, so you had, Greg Murphy and Jim Richards. But then I think, for us being probably more of a European country too, it was Formula One, so watching the likes of Ayrton Senna to, Michael Schumacher, I think he really kind of transformed Formula One in a lot of ways too, with Senna, and just the way that the training was picked up and the process was totally different. It kind of changed a lot from, the 70s and 80s, where it was more still about, having some, beers and smoking cigarettes and things like that. So I don't know. I think there's always a lot of influences, but for me, it started with my dad. That's how it really started, watching him kind of race in club sport stuff, whether it was rally car to circuit cars to dirt track stuff. And then, ultimately my cousins, I went and watched my cousins race go-karts at the age of 7, and then, had to go at the end of the day and absolutely loved it. And that's kind of what my trigger was driving that go-kart for the first time and being like, man, this is amazing. Like, I really want to do this. But then, you know, of course, you know, you have big dreams and hope that things are going to work out. But, you know, I think once I got the interest of watching the Indianapolis 500, which was probably in the kind of early 90s to mid 90s, and, you know, hearing the names of, you know, the Andretti's to, you know, AJ Foyt, to the Unses, Rick Mears, you know, and that racing kind of fascinated me just because it was so competitive, and, you know, it wasn't until really the last lap that you knew who the winner was going to be. So, you know, and then for me coming for the first time, I think in 1996 or 97 to America to watch a kart race in Vancouver and then Laguna Seca, I was hooked.
When you started to meet these drivers, the AJ Foyts, the Mears, the Andretti's, curious of your reaction then versus where you are now, because you are one of them to younger drivers. Like, I just met Scott Dixon. Can you even compare the two?
No, I don't know. Like, you know, you look at that generation, man, they were just lucky to make it out alive. You know, which, you know, fortunately we're in a generation where safety has become, you know, much better. But I don't know, it's weird. Like, I was, you know, very shy when it came to America, very shy, you know, in these early years of hanging out with the likes of Jimmy Vasser and, you know, Paul Tracy, Michael Andretti, you know, Mauricio Gugelmin was my teammate, but that was kind of really the only person I spoke to. And then occasionally, as you know, you'd kind of go to some of the after parties, have a few drinks, and kind of get a little more courage. You'd start talking to these people. But you know, the cool part for me is just, you know, even you know, AJ and Mario, we still see them pretty much 90% of the races, which is crazy because you can just go up and chat to them, you know, and that's what's so cool about these people and what they've achieved and what they've done. But you know, their love for the sport is just is insane.
Scott Dixon, just hearing you talk about them and saying things like what they've achieved, what they've done, I want to apply that to you, what you've achieved. Obviously, you just tied Mario Andretti on the all-time wins list at 52 wins, second on the list, but you've immersed yourself in Indianapolis. You've become part of the city, and you are the culture of IndyCar. So, I mean, it's not long. We're not long from the time where people are going to say, oh my gosh, Scott Dixon is my neighbor. I mean, he walks the paddock and he makes it so easy for me to talk to. How crazy is that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because I'm just living the dream, you know, like I came from, you know, South Auckland, New Zealand, you know, a long ways away. Never really thought I'd race in America. You know, I was kind of on the way to Europe and going that route. And, you know, I lived in Indy for 2 years before I even went to the race. I think I moved here in 99. I actually might have been 3 years. I didn't go until 2002 when I signed with Chip Ganassi Racing. To kind of watch it on TV, it doesn't do it justice. You know, it kind of clicked when I went for the first time. I was like, holy cow, like I actually get why this race is so big. Like it's amazing on so many levels. And I always say I've been to Olympic Games, I've been to World Cups, I've been to Super Bowls. Nothing has a touch on Indy. And I'm going to be a little bit biased because I'm into racing, but as far as an event goes and just, you know, people watching and just seeing the sheer size of it, it's insane. Like, so I don't know, like I love Indy. I love the pace of it. I love the people here. You know, and you know, that's where we brought our family up. You know, it's one of those things where it's not a crazy city and it allows you to focus on the sport that I love. And you know, luckily my wife enjoys it too, which really helps because ultimately she sets the rules. So yeah, you know, it's I don't know. I love so many aspects of it, but I think, you know, what is firsthand is just the history and the people that, you know, make Indianapolis what it is.
What would be Scott Dixon had you not sat your butt in that go-kart many, many, many years ago? What would you be doing? What was your path or your projected trajectory? I mean, where would Scott be?
It's hard, right? Because I was only 7, you know, so.
But you had big dreams.
You know, I had big dreams of I don't know, probably being a firefighter or I have no idea. I loved cars. I think cars was always, you know, a thing. I loved technology, you know, graphics and design was kind of, you know, what I studied in high school, and then IT. So something probably along those lines. But I think, you know, a lot of those things can apply in racing too, you know, whether I moved into kind of the engineering stance of it as well. I love, you know, kind of that side of what we do in deep diving. And obviously lots of things have changed now with technology. You know, we never even when I started, there was no kind of data to, you know, once I got to kind of higher levels of junior categories, to look at and go through the process. So it was more kind of, by the seat of your bum, trying to understand what you needed. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough one to answer. I could be, I don't know, a laborer. I don't know. I don't know what I would have been. I'm just glad it worked. I'm glad it worked out.
What I'm picking up, though, is you have all the tools to be team owner, team management down the road. Whenever you decide to turn in your butterfly, no more steering wheel.
Definitely not team owner, unless I'm using your money. I don't want to touch that. I admire team owners because, to have that situation and it's expensive, and from year to year, it's very difficult, even for drivers to try and figure out what you're going to be doing from year to year is quite tough. But I admire the risk that team owners take, and they still seem to enjoy it, which is fantastic.
Wow. Scott Dixon, man, oh man, is it great to hear your voice and to talk to you again. It's been a couple of days since you were in the Freak Nation. Scott Dixon, winner at Toronto, tied Mario Andretti for 52 wins. And you laid out that list of stuff there. IT. Is Scott Dixon a geek? I had questions here.
I'm a big geek, man. Do you need your iPhone fixed or your computer there? Like, I'll come over, man. I'll come fix your stuff.
Just pow, fell out of the screen. We've known you since before you had family, and now you dropped that on us. I'm just stunned. Growing up in New Zealand, there was the Millen brothers were huge at the time.
Yeah.
You didn't mention them. I was great friends with Rod at least, and somewhat friends with Steve.
Yeah.
Steve won the first IndyCar race. You didn't mention their names. They weren't big in New Zealand as they were here in the United States.
They were big. It's actually weird. I have a close relationship with Rod. I had lunch with, well, actually had dinner with him probably about a month ago, and talked to him kind of every week, and his wife Shelley. So it was kind of funny. I think I missed that portion of their careers, and mostly was the stadium truck stuff, then Pikes Peak. But just to I've done Leadfoot Festival, which they run down in New Zealand, which is kind of a mini Goodwood, up the driveway, which at Rod's place in New Zealand in Hahe. And
wait! I'm cutting you off there. How'd you do in that? That's a lot of major drivers get in there to racing up Rod Millen's driveway. Sounds great, but
I was there more for the after parties. I think I was in just in a Honda Civic Type R, which is a very fast car for that kind of class, I guess. But and then I think the first time I drove it, I actually drove a 1906 Dirac. So it looks like it was one of the first ever Grand Prix cars, which was crazy. Loads of torque, but it looks like basically a big tractor. Like the engine is literally, I don't know, 5 meters long or something. It was huge. But that was my first time and first experience at that place. And you had the brake was actually a hand brake. You couldn't use the foot brake. So it was yeah. So let's just say I wasn't the quickest up the hill, that's for sure.
Let me ask one more here. Scott Dixon, you've done everything. You've won 6 championships, second most race wins ever. You're a huge name in motorsport. You flirted with F1 for a while, or F1 flirted with you, whichever. You beat a guy this weekend who F1 is flirting with. They're having some sort of relationship. Who the heck knows? Have you reached the point in Scott Dixon's career where you're having fun?
I'm always having fun. I trust me, it's a lot of hard work and there's a lot of details to it, but I couldn't imagine myself doing anything different. I think, and that's what drives me, is that, I feel lucky doing what I'm doing. There's many different roads that you could have taken, but looking back on my career, I think and the journey that I had and the people that helped me and the opportunities that I had, you couldn't have written it more perfect. So I love doing what I do. I feel very lucky to get where I got to and the journey that I took. You know, I don't really regret anything, that's for sure. So yeah, no, I'm happy doing what I do, and I love it. I think that's why I want to continue to do it for a long time.
Your IT guy. I'm sorry, Craig. IT guy.
It sounds like you're having some mic problems there, man. I need to come around and help you out.
You're a Windows or Mac. You're a Windows or Mac guy. If you're a Windows dude, I might give you a call as soon as
I'll tell you what, if you get a Mac, then you won't need any IT people. They just work.
See?
man.
Yes, he's on our
cat
side.
and dog conversation. All right, there you go.
Well, happy birthday to you, buddy. At 42 years old, man. And think about this, man. When we started Speed Freaks 22 years ago, you weren't even old enough to drink.
Yeah, well, I was drinking, but probably not legally. So yeah, it's I remember that. I think I celebrated at a bar that I'd been going to. My first IndyCar win. I celebrated in Indianapolis here at a bar that I've been going to for 2 years, and I still wasn't 21. So they were a little shocked when that stat was read off. But hey, that's the way it goes.
Broad Ripple's used to it. They have
That's
to.
right. That's right.
Holy smokes. And as if Ganassi of all teams needed this win to take the headline away from Palou and Ganassi and McLaren. He's probably patting you on the back with a couple of extra hundies going, thank you, Scotty.
No, it's, honestly, to have, what do you have? 3 cars in the top 4 of the championship. I'm tied with Joseph at the moment, I think, for 4th, but, it was a big weekend. I think the recovery, even the 10 car Alex had from 22nd to 6th and Marcus, moving up to 5th. So, Chip was very calm on the weekend. Yes, there was a lot of noise, but I think it actually helped people focus a lot on what was really at hand and what we needed to do. So, it was a competitive weekend for us, and yeah, Chip was happy, man. He smiled and he said thank you. So that was good.
It's beautiful, buddy. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Great to see you guys.
Scott, thank you, man.
Cheers.
The headlines this week shined the bright light on record temperatures and climate change in countries around the world, including here in the United States. Triple-digit temperatures were hotter than ever recorded in several countries, and that includes records that go back nearly 400 years. Temperatures were coupled with explosion of brush fires in the American West and record heat in the plains and Northeast here in the United States. You can argue about where this climate change came from. Certainly many do, but you can't logically deny that one contributor is the internal combustion engine. That's why another small headline here in America is so relevant. Story said NASCAR is ready to unveil a prototype electric race car at the Busch Coliseum Clash next February. In reality, we shouldn't be surprised. Automakers are under mandate to cut dependence on fossil fuels. NASCAR is under its own mandate to maintain its dependency on automaker money. So you can imagine the closed meetings where future checks are trapped in a common business practice. You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. If you don't like the idea of electric cars, though, maybe you'd like the idea of grilling in the backyard with 150-degree temperatures and the backyard on fire. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? Peace.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Justin Wilson joins Crash Gladys, Kenny Sargent, Speed Freaks Pits, hanging out in this snappy little media center. This looks like some testing center for like monkeys and dogs, like you're hanging out here in the Quadron.
Yeah, you just keep poking sticks and see what the reaction is. That's put me in the corner and I just sit back here and see what happens.
Well, but we walk up and you say, well, here comes trouble. Why do you say that, Justin Wilson? Only because we've been busting your balls for 10 years?
It's... The mood really picks up when you guys come in. It's good fun, but it's like my younger brother. love him, but you also like to give him a hard time at the same time.
Justin, we've seen that other side of you, and that's when you're in the car, when you can be an MFer. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, once the visor's down, I don't care. I want to win as much as anyone else, and it's time to go. So, it's kind of my bipolar or whatever you put.
Your inner AJ Foyt, right?
Yeah. And that started ever since I was teammates with AJ. It's with AJ Allmending, I should say. Didn't race with AJ Foyt. I'm not quite that old, but yeah, it's just you want to go out there and race hard and play hard, but I just find it hard to be mean outside of the car, and there's times when I've let people know what I think, but generally speaking, I just like it easygoing. Don't like the drama that some of the drivers like. I like it to be nice and straightforward and just work on my car. I want to go fast, and that's all that really matters to me.
Speaking of sense of humor, what city are you from specifically?
I'm from Sheffield in England.
A bitchin' soccer team, but I'm also told that people from that area are pretty much freedom of expression, where you might walk around the family nude, hanging out in your skivvies. You don't care if your kids are running outside naked. Is that true?
I've not seen that. No.
You don't walk around in your skivvies and your kids hanging out in the front porch nude?
No, it's a little cold there to be doing that sort of thing. It's not quite, Florida kind of temperatures. So.
So you do it in Florida?
Oh yeah, that's all the time.
Yeah, because we busted Tristan Vautier about. We tried to about does he wear a Speedo, because he's a Frenchie.
Yeah.
And he says, hell no, I don't wear a Speedo. But you English bastards might drop one out there, right? I bet you in a Speedo is like a redwood in a Speedo, all freaking limbs, right?
No, it's not a good look, and I like to wear board shorts. Just keep it pretty simple.
You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined.
Get yourself a truck. What about a Mustang? What about a big old Honda out back? Yamaha, Suzuki, Harley Davidson. Lucas Oil has a product to keep your rides fat and happy. Don't believe me? Go to lucasoil.com and check out their line and lines of products to keep your rides on the road. Go to lucasoil.com as we do it from the Lucas Oil Studios. I had an intention to do a little bit of not much motorsports at this point, but given the news coming out of NASCAR, we got about 4.5 minutes to chat a little bit more. I haven't seen any updates. I guess we won't see any more updates until tomorrow morning, but in case you haven't heard, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. Denny Hamlin finished first. Kyle Busch finished second. Disqualified because of something illegal in the fascia of their race car. That's in the front of the race car, and according to a report, there was something underneath the sticker of the car. That's if you follow racing, what you see on these race cars, it's not paint. These are stickers.
Not anymore.
Right. These are stickers, and evidently there was something underneath the sticker that NASCAR.
You can't call it a sticker because the sticker is a little thing that you just stick on the car.
Okay, Crash.
The wrap is something you wrap the car in. Yeah.
They both stick on the car.
It's a big thing that
it's a big sticker, man.
Acts like a sticker, but it wraps the car with the paint scheme
Right.
that's not really paint.
Regardless if it's a sticker, some whiteout, or a freaking wrap, or a Band-Aid. It was so egregious that NASCAR disqualified these two drivers.
Just blown away by that. Just blown away.
Not anything like they failed tech and will dispense the fines on Tuesday. No, they disqualified these two drivers. So
The good, clean, all-American Joe Gibbs racing team.
Yep.
At it again.
Hey, Crash, easy. It's a good Christian man. Didn't you say, what is it? Thou shalt not steal? Thou shalt not steal race wins?
Thou shalt not cheat.
Yeah. That's up in there, crash. That's number 6 of the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not cheat. Well, there is actually kind of cheat in there. But my point is this, that, again, 62 years was the last time that NASCAR has disqualified your race winner. Huge. And I just threw some garbage at Google Crasher for IndyCar and NHRA about disqualifications, and nothing similar to this has come up.
That's a hashtag. Garbage at Google.
Boom.
Or a band name.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's not happening in other major motorsports. Yeah. It's not. It's like you take an illegal substance in the NFL, you're gone 6 games. Boom. No questions asked. You know what, Stat? Maybe Joe Gibbs. God dang it. We got a minute and 45 seconds. Maybe Joe Gibbs needs to learn a lesson from some of these NFL guys about some of their excuses. I didn't know. I didn't know, man.
Well, he could still say that if if they prove to be a violation, and he's got till tomorrow to appeal. So evidently, he may not be found guilty. But if he's found guilty, he could always say that I didn't know. I wasn't the guy in charge of putting the wrap on the car. So now it's, I fired the people responsible. We don't do business that way. And, Joe Gibbs Racing has got to answer to Toyota and 50 other people that give us money and don't want to be associated with people who don't do business right.
In the post-race press conference, when he was sitting up there with Denny, he was asked about Kyle Busch's sponsorship and how frustrating it has been to solidify anything for next year. And he made reference to
20 seconds, Crash.
No, okay. We'll go watch that and we can talk about that later on in the show. It just piles on with these two cars being disqualified.
With a race that was brought to you by M&M's Freak Nation.
Their sponsor.
Matt Smith next.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
IndyCar, WWT Raceway, Saturday, August 20th. The Bommarito Automotive Group 500. Icons, legends, and rising stars. Drama at 200 miles per hour. It's not a reality show. It's real life, real fast. The iconic teams, McLaren, Andretti, Foyt, Rahal, Penske, Ganassi. Legendary drivers, Johnson, Kanaan, Castroneves, Newgarden, IndyCar. Only at WWT Raceway.
Hey, Freak Nation, whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in off-road situations, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, supporting the Freak Nation for 2 decades.
Lucas Oil, it works.
I run Lucas Oil.
It doesn't matter if you're on the water,
driving to work,
or competing in a sold-out stadium.
Lucas Oil products will help you get the most out of your vehicle.
Monster Jam has run Lucas Oil in and on our trucks for over 10 years.
we wouldn't run anything else.
Lucas Oil, the official oil of Monster Jam.
Hey, Freak Nation, did you hear? With the addition of MAV TV Plus to the MAV TV Motorsports Network, they've got their full live event broadcast schedule, a total of 226 live race broadcasts featuring the ARCA Menard Series, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, Pro Pulling League, American Sprint Car Series, Pro Motocross, and the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. MAV TV, the only television network dedicated to motorsports. Go to mavtv.com to get your motorsports fix 24/7, 365.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas fuel treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system. Pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas fuel treatment. It works.
Time is more valuable today. There's less time to keep our vehicles looking their best. That's where Lucas Oil Slick Mist Speed Wax steps up. It's great for paint, chrome, glass, and vinyl. Lucas Oil Slick Mist simply mists on and then wipes off, leaving a new car shine every time. It's quick and easy and works on wet or dry surfaces. For a complete detail, there's also Slick Mist Interior or Slick Mist Tire and Trim Shine. Lucas Oil, it works.
You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined.
Time Pro Stock Bike Champion Matt Smith joining us here in the Freak Nation. And if you only knew what was going on to try and get him on this interview, he's in the pro shop of a golf course in Reno here in the Freak Nation. But real quick, man, is golf a Jones for you to get your mind off of your business? Or can you apply some of the same mental toughness on your bike at your starts that you can on the golf course?
No, I like to go fishing. I mean, golf is just something I do part-time every now and then, but fishing is what gets me off my helps me get my mindset right. So there's no fishing around here that I can go do, so we just come to go to the golf course today because there's nothing else here to do but gamble. And, you know, I don't want to lose all my money I won last weekend.
So Matt Smith, flying those Lucas Oil colors as we do this from Lucas Oil Studios, joining us here in the Freak Nation. And I'm often curious. I've worked with my wife since 2009, Crash Gladys. She's been my wife, but I worked with her for 22 years. When you and Angie, your wife, get the grid of where you line up on your bikes for Sunday, do you cringe at where you might line up knowing that you might have to face your wife, or does she welcome the chance to kick your ass?
Well, you know, we had it planned out where we were going to meet in the finals, and she just had a TPS that went out in the semifinals, or it would have been me and her in the finals there at Denver. So I don't never like racing her because I get a lot of slack from her if I beat her. But then if she beats me, she's really happy. So, you know, it's one of them things. I mean, you know, as long as one of us wins, that's all that counts, in my opinion.
How many times have you guys gone up against each other, whether or not it's in the finals or just regardless, just any time? How do you even have a number?
I don't have a number. I mean, we've only met one time in the finals, and she beat me in that, and I was Epping, I think, in 13. But we've met plenty of times, more than I can count, you know, in first, second, semifinals, but only one time in the finals. So that could have been a weekend to remember again if I wanted a revenge really bad.
Yeah, but your bike was on rails in Denver. I mean, granted, you were back on the Buell, but the first 7-0 run there, you were, I think, did I see this correctly? You were number one every single session, every single round on Sunday. I mean, what was the power? I mean, how did you have such a great weekend in Denver?
Well, I mean, it's hard work. That's all it is. It's hard work. We stayed over Monday in 18 and Monday in 19 after the Denver race and tested there. And we really got our crap together, learned some stuff. And then, of course, COVID hit and we didn't race there in 20. And then we come back in 21 and I dominated there last year. So we have a very good package there. And nobody else has gone up there and tested in the bike class, you know. So, I mean, you're not going to get better at a one-off racetrack if you don't go and test. And that's our advantage up here.
Ooh, good point. Does any of that transfer to Sonoma?
No, because, you know, I'll be back on my Suzuki at Sonoma because NHRA, I don't know if you saw yesterday, but NHRA hit the V-twins they added 10 pounds to them and then took 5 pounds away from the Suzuki. So it's a 15-pound weight swing that they penalized the V-twins. And that was the first race the V-twins have won this year. So I don't understand. Suzuki's won 6 and V-twins won 1, and now they're going to penalize them. So I'll be back on my Suzuki.
That sounds like something against you, Matt Smith. That doesn't sound like something even in the playing field. When you beat guys up as bad as Crash described, they don't want you out there hurting their feelings. Come on.
I've had more rule changes made on me over the last 10 years over there in NHRA and it's all pointed toward Matt Smith. You know, it's not the class, it's not the brand. it's Matt Smith. And, you know, we work hard. You know, we have good supporters. We have good backers behind us. And we work hard to get where we're at. And we just get penalized all the time. And, you know, I think NHRA has a vengeance on the name Smith because they do this a lot of times with my dad, too, in Pro Mod.
Whoa.
Matt Smith laying down the wood there, dude. Wow. Okay. Let's you want to go deeper into that, or do you want to just let that lay on the table where you left it? You're in Reno. There's stuff going on the table all day long.
Yeah, and you said lay in the wood. I'm in the golf shop, so we're here to lay some wood today on hitting these clubs.
So Matt Smith, 5 championships in 34 wins. That's pretty that's pretty efficient, dude. You're not wasting any wins. When you beat them back, you say, I'm taking this and I'm taking everything you got that's coming up.
Yep. And I try to win every race that we can, because if you don't go to the race to win, then there's no use in going. I mean, we go to win every race. Now, we all know it doesn't happen, but I mean, I've been very successful in my career, and, you know, and so has my dad. And, you know, we fly the colors of Denso, Lucas Oil, and that is why we keep our sponsors, because we go out there to win. And, you know, even though NHRA is doing what they're doing, I'm very disappointed in them. I've had meetings with them the last 2 days with Tech and the president of NHRA. And, you know, what really hurts is they did this to the Denso bike before the Denso race this weekend. And I mean, that's just a slap in the face to our sponsors.
So let's go. I'm trying to think how to go dig a little deeper into this, because you keep bringing it up. You build the bike, you tune the bike, you are the crew chief on the bike, and you ride the bike. So if they make any change anywhere, they're going against you. Now, you said some things that would get you penalized in other race series. Are you afraid they might do that in the NHRA?
No, I mean, you know, I haven't said nothing derogatory toward them, I guess you would say. It's just a simple fact that I said they don't like me. And I mean, they seem to always want to penalize people that work hard. And, you know, and I think they have a lot of influence from one individual. And I'm just going to call their name out, because, you know, I'm letting it all air out because I'm really upset about this whole deal.
You should, baby.
Terry Vance.
Okay.
It's not Byron Hines. Byron Hines doesn't do anything. Terry Vance is behind this whole deal of getting rules pushed for their product. We saw it for years and years and years with Harley Davidson. Now, Vance and Hines lost, you know, Harley Davidson. They got Suzuki now in their pocket, and now the rules are favoring Suzuki's. And it's Terry Vance doing it because he donates $1 million a year every year to NHRA for these schools. And it's just they listen to what he wants, and this is what he wants.
Okay, it's fine to listen to one sponsor, one big financial donator, but it really hit me when you said these rule changes were made on your Denso bikes right before the Denso Nationals. What can Denso say about this? It's not like they're not giving any money up. They are to the NHRA. Can they step in?
They have. They've stepped in. They've made calls already. They have meetings today. They're really upset. You know, I can't vouch, and I won't talk for, you know, Dan and Lisa from NHRA in the marketing department, but they're really upset with this whole deal. And you know, it's not a good thing to upset sponsors that and sponsor races, your series, and everything. I mean, you know, Lucas Oil sponsors the whole series. I mean, they're penalizing, you know, us again, you know, because we work hard and work with Lucas and find, you know, new ways to make more power with the oil that we designed for them. So, you know, it's just frustrating, you know. Like I said, we could harp on this all day long, but it is what it is. And, you know, hopefully they'll retract and make this change the right way. I say it's a knee-jerk reaction. NHRA, how do I say this? Since the Pro Mod class has run in Norwalk, they've made 3 rule changes of Pro Mod cars, and they haven't even raced yet since the rule changes. So 3 different times, 3 different rule changes. So I'm saying it's a knee-jerk reaction.
Lucas Oil Studios, 22 years. Matt Smith, 5-time pro stock bike champion, joining us here in the Freak Nation, flying those Lucas Oil colors. But let's be honest, Matt, we haven't seen rivalries in drag racing like the one that's brewing between you and holy, somebody's emptying some golf balls. We haven't seen a rivalry between between you and Steve Johnson in freaking years. Outside looking in, baby. This is what it's made for, man. Drag racing is mano a mano, or how do you say woman and whatever I'm talking, mono a woman. This is greatness to watch from the outside looking in, buddy.
It is. It's great. I mean, it's good to have rivals, and I like having rivals. Me and Steve's got a good rival going this year. He could have won 3 in a row, and he outran me, but I whole shot him and won that Richmond race on a Suzuki. So he's the points leader. I'm third in points. So we're going to have a good battle this year. If rules are equal.
There it is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Matt Smith calling it like he sees it here in the Freak Nation.
Well, there's no better way to put out the big middle finger to rule changes than to just get a win. And I know you guys are going to fight like hell for it.
We're going to. I'm going back to my Suzuki this weekend. I'm parking the bike that won last weekend, and we'll see if we can win on that.
Wow. I still don't get it, how you can go from – it's like Toyota. You know what? I'm going to go bring my Chevrolet out here and run a race. How can you do that, go from Buell to Toyota? Is it because you're not taking – Buell to Suzuki? Are you not taking any money from either manufacturer? This is all your blow on the bike?
Yeah.
Matt Smith?
We have no factory support from either company. So, we have no factory support from either company. So we can do what we want.
I don't understand drag racing, the entire industry. I love it. A woman can win pro stock championships and have to fight for support. You've won 5 championships and you've got no factory support. Is it that you are declining the support from the manufacturer and you'd rather have it from a supplier like Lucas Oil or Denso? Why don't the manufacturers step up and support champions in drag racing?
That's a good question. Angel has factory support. And there again, that's Terry Vance, who gets all the publicity. They've had factory support with Harley for 20 years. Now they got Suzuki factory support. So it's all who has the money. I don't have the money that those guys have. I just work harder than they do, and I make more power, and I go win races.
That's a mic drop.
Yeah.
It's like, I might not have the money, but I work harder and I win.
You're doing the right thing. You're going to go lay the wood on some golf balls today.
Right.
Get rid of some of that anger. You're doing the right thing, dude.
I'm going to.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, thanks for taking time out of your golf day to join us here in the Freak Nation. All right, buddy?
All right. Well, thank y'all for having me on. I appreciate it.
You know, this reminds me of, Stat, when, gosh, I don't remember the year, but when did the NBA raise the basketball goal? Because players were dunking too much, or it was too easy to dunk. Do you remember how long ago that was?
I don't know how long ago that was. I know they changed the rules for Chamberlain about shooting free throws, and they widened the lane when he was around. I don't remember when they raised the rim. That might have been before my time, and I came around right after the mud hardened. So that was a long time ago.
The field goals are too early. Let's move them back to the 35. Too early. Too easy. Let's move them back to the 35. Yeah. They miss them every now and then. Sorry, Matt. God.
Yeah, that's what happens when you win too much. And in sports car racing, because we talked earlier about the balance of performance, you win too much there, they'll put some weight on you to slow you down. That's what happens.
you just in all forms. Well, okay, in a number form of number. Okay, in a lot of sports.
In many sports.
There we go. You look at their past, their history, and how they've changed it. We've made fun of NASCAR. We've made fun of the NHRA. We've made fun of IndyCar with their some of their qualifying, some of their what I'm trying to say, their playoffs to get into the championship hunt. And those I realize, of course, were more to try and continue to hold the audience. But when you go in directly at the performer in that sport, Matt Smith, and change a rule because of one driver, one athlete, I mean, why aren't we going off on the NHRA?
Yeah. I mean, we did in similar situations go off on IMSA over the years. We have done that. So, yeah, especially the way this was handled, it just doesn't sound like everything was taken into consideration. It sounds like a knee-jerk reaction. We should be going after the NHRA because this just isn't right.
You're talking to the wrong guy, because I go after the NHRA all the time for not supporting the personalities of the drivers like NASCAR does. And they're taking more time to say, 300 miles an hour in less than 4 seconds. And nobody can see the difference between 300 and 250, but, or less than 3 seconds or less than 5 seconds. But the point is that they have great personalities like Matt Smith, like Antron Brown, like Angel Sampey, like, any John Force, Ron Capps, Brittany Force, name the people. And, they're all great people to support, and the fans will get behind them. But the NHRA, for some reason, doesn't do that. Doesn't do it as much as they should.
Freak Nation, it's been a great show. We'll do it again next Sunday night. Crasher's going to be hanging out in Indianapolis for some truck races, some IndyCar races, and some NASCAR Cup Series races. So who knows what the hell we're going to get. Stat man, shoot the juice to the moose and do what you do.
Cut it loose.
Yep.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Now on the Speed Freaks picks, the Supercross King, and I'm going to play off my Gone in 60 Seconds. Would you please welcome Jeremy McGrath? What's up there, Jer?
Hey, thanks. Not much. Just cruising.
Hey, one of the things I was talking about in my Gone in 60 Seconds, how Motorsports Series should play off of NASCAR. Core's doing it by bringing in Robbie Gordon for a number of their races this year. Supercross should do it. IndyCar should do it. Drag should do it. You being the Supercross champ, shouldn't they piggyback the motherlode NASCAR as well?
I 100% agree. NASCAR has got the right model, and everyone should be trying to emulate them, try and copy them, because obviously they have the right formula that's blown up.
You're doing just the opposite, though. You're using Supercross, piggyback Supercross to go to NASCAR.
Well, I'm fortunate in the opportunities that I have gotten lately because of my Supercross riding. But yeah, I'm trying to do a little car racing.
He was on the first Speed Freak show. You were like the
first radio show.
The first radio show.
Ever.
So long. What'd you think about when these guys call you and you heard some of the previous interviews? You had to say these guys are nuts.
Oh, everyone, yeah. We were like, what's going on here? Well, who's taking over? And see, look where we're at now.
Yeah, see, here we are in the middle. Yeah, you're racing cars and we're on TV.
Weren't you approached about running an IndyCar back in the mid-'90s?
Yeah, it was funny because I was with Honda, and I was always, throughout my whole career and when I was younger, I was driving karts and doing all kinds of car stuff aside from my regular career, which was Supercross and motocross. I wanted to race IndyCar, so Honda had a good program at that time, and there was some talk about it, but it really never went anywhere because I was in the middle of my racing career, and it's not like I could have switched.
Well, something that did happen from that was the fact that you didn't do it. You stayed with Supercross, but look where you are now. You're hanging with the biggest name in motorsports, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and it's kind of funky how this came about. Can you spend about 20 seconds? What happened? Who made
Yeah, well, it is I can't even believe it's happening. I still
Right.
like smack myself in the morning, like, really? Is this really happening? And so to get to hang with Junior is awesome, but at the same time, it's a great opportunity. And how the whole thing happened was, well, I mean, obviously I'm a fan of NASCAR. I'm a fan of racing anything. So my dad was talking with you. You guys were talking together and made a few phone calls. And I mean, with the network that we all have, it kind of just fell into place. And then the opportunity happened. I went back for the test. It was like 6 weeks later. I went back for the test, and then now I have a 12 race deal, 2-year deal. And
Are you doing this because you saw Ricky have success and you said, hey, I kind of want what he's got now?
I'm not doing this opportunity because Ricky Carmichael's doing it, and I want to get out there and race him again, although that would be a great story.
You're listening to Speed Freaks Motorsports Radio Redefined.